Following. So, biotin and ascorbic acid are water soluble vitamins. Identify the missing product in the following equation. C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives to dash plus 6H2O plus energy. So correct option is 6CO2. This is the basic photosynthesis reaction. So correct option is B. Identify the blood vessel which carries deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary artery. Fourth question, match the following. Correct option for fourth question is C. Fifth one, identify the pair of hormones secreted by pituitary gland. So pituitary gland will be the correct option for fifth question is D. Sixth question, identify the correct sentence from the following. So embryo sac is a female gametophyte in flowering plants. Correct option for sixth question is B. Seventh one, so we have to fill the missing blanks in this question. Nostrils, so missing blank will be obviously nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea. So correct option for seventh question will be C. Identify the function of kidney from the following. It is not respiration, it is not circulation, it is not reproduction. Kidney function is excretion. Ninth, identify the secondary metabolites of the plants used in preparation of varnishes in your daily life. So option is resins. Hormones released by pancreas, glucagon and insulin. Identify the sequence of passage of air in respiration. So this is the correct order, students. Go through it. Third question, which of the following statements are true? Arteries carry blood from heart to body. This is true. Pulmonary artery carries oxygenated blood. This is wrong. Always pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. Artery walls are thin. This is also false. Second and third false because artery walls are thick. Blood is pumped into arteries at regular interval. This is correct. So second and third statements are wrong. Correct option is C. Identify the given diagram. So this is the diagram for lenticels. The secondary metabolite we use in tanning of leather is tannins. The vitamin should be taken to prevent scurvy in our daily life is so vitamin C, which is also called ascorbic acid. Seventh question, match the following. So correct option for this seventh question is C. The following structures acts as pumps in lymphatic vessel. So correct option is C, skeletal muscles. Arrange the following steps in order. So this is the correct order. Number of spinal nerves in human beings is 31 pairs or 62. The digestive juice without enzyme is bile juice. Identify the wall present in between right atria and right ventricle. Tricuspid. The excretory organ in cockroach. Malpighian tubules. The region in brain protect that controls hunger. Human dental formula 2123. What does a food chain always start with? The food chain always start with producers. Identify the natural resource from the following: solar power or solar energy. Find the missing product of the equation. I think there is some wrong in the question. Just ignore. Identify the plant shown in the figure. Bryophyllum. meaning of the phrase omnicellular decellular is all cells exist from pre-existing cells. The meaning this one. 52. The vitamin is not available in any kind of food material. Only digestive tract fauna synthesis it. So అది B6 కాదు B12 B2 కాదు విటమిన్ డి కాదు ఇట్ ఈస్ B12. సో B12 ఎనీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ మెటీరియల్లో అవైలబుల్ ఉండదు బట్ ఓన్లీ డైజెస్టివ్ ట్రాక్ట్ ఫౌనా సింథసిస్. విచ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఈస్ కరెక్ట్ ఇన్ రెస్పెక్ట్ ఆఫ్ డయాఫ్రమ్? It helps in maintaining of heartbeat. It is wrong. It helps in releasing of lactic acid. It is also wrong. It helps in releasing of energy. Wrong. It helps in moving of air in and out of lungs. This is correct one. Hormone that helps in absorption of water from urine is vasopressin. Correct option 1. The muscle that helps the mouth enable the food to be pushed into oral are called sphincter muscles. Vasectomy means cutting and tied of sperm ducts. Branchial respiration is found in cockroach, wrong. Frog, wrong. Birds, wrong. It is in fish. Cluster of air sacs in lungs are called alveoli. Double fertilization is seen only in angiosperms. The four stages of urine formation respectively are, so correct option intended 2, 1, 4, 2, 3. 1 endo glomerular filtration, 4 tubular reabsorption, 2 tubular secretion, 3 formation of hypertonic urine. So these are the four stages in order 1, 4, 2, 3. Stethoscope is discovered by René Lenneck. The liquid portion after the formation of blood clot is called serum. This shows remarkable effect on photosynthesis. So it will be intensity of light. In grafting, the plant part which supplies nutrients from soil is called stalk. Forelimb of whale, wing of bat, hand of human being are said to be homologous organs. John Dapper, Human Psychology, Charles Lyell, it is the principles of geology. Phytoplankton means plants grow on surface of water. Charles Elton relates to ecology. ఆవరణ శాస్త్రం అంటారు తెలుగులో. The process involved in the formation of seedless fruits is parthenogenesis. Pathway of ovum in female reproductive system is ovary, oviduct, uterus, vagina. Phenotypic ratio of F1 generation in Mendel's monohybrid cross will be 3:1 ratio. The tendency of pollutants to concentrate as they move from one trophic level to another is known as biomagnification. Passing of characters from parents to offspring is called heredity. The resin absorbed from penis is used in varnish. Scientific name of touch me mimosa pudica. Microvilli is present in P and they work as Q. The P and Q are called P is small intestine and Q is absorbs of nutrients into blood. Energy currency in the name of this and it is formed due to ATP glycolysis. Cascata plant absorbs food through ostoria. The digestive juice without enzyme is bile juice. Which of the following is not related to the 4 R's of environment protection? Reduce is involved, recycle is also part, reuse is also part. Remove is the correct option. It's not involved in 4 R's. Watershed means village tank. Match the following. So skin will be sebum, liver will be bile pigments, colon will be salts of calcium and magnesium. So correct option intended 1 B A C. The method of artificial propagation by which thousands of plants can be grown in very short period is tissue culture. The tropic movement of tendrils is thigmotropism. Sense organs, two sensory nerve, spinal cord, receptor, motor nerve, tissue. So AB is sensory nerve, B is receptor. Weeds and some wild plants are not eaten by insects, pests, and animals because the plants may contain toxic chemicals and unpleasant to taste. The biological process in which light energy is converted into chemical energy is respiration kadu, excretion kadu, transportation kadu, it is photosynthesis. End products of light dependent reaction is O2, ATP, NADPH. These are the end products of light dependent reaction. These seeds are used in the production of biodiesel, Jetropa. The physiological disorder due to accumulation of heavy metals into human beings through food chain is renal damage. Correct option 1. Expand BOD, biological oxygen demand. BOD ante biological oxygen demand, option 3. ESRD is related to this organ and its full form is kidney end stage renal disease. E ante end stage, R ante renal, D ante disease. So correct option 2. Very poor muscle development, swollen legs, fluffy face, diarrhea, and dry skin are the symptoms of this disease. Kwashiorkor. Materials required to conduct an experiment to prove CO2 is evolved during respiration is glass bottle, germinating seed, lime water. These are the materials required to prove carbon dioxide is evolved during respiration. Correct statement among the following is xylem transport minerals and water. It is a correct. Phloem distributes nutrients. It is also correct. Xylem has upward movement. Wrong. Phloem has also upward movement. It is wrong. So only 1 and 2 are correct. So correct option in it. First one. This is the way how sperm break through the egg cell membrane. So dissolves the membrane with chemicals. What happens when adrenaline level increases in our blood? So the hair on the body becomes erect and we get goosebumps. Skin becomes sensitive and urine may discharge. So 1, 2, 3 are correct one. So option 4 is correct. The part of brain controls hunger pangs is densiphallon.
So our first question goes like this. The arteries found in the human circulatory system. Option A. These have thick elastic walls and the blood flows under high pressure. Is it option B? The walls of the veins are thin and blood flows under low pressure. Is it option C? The walls of the veins are thin and blood flows under high pressure. Or option D, these have a thick elastic walls and the blood flows under low pressure. So what do you think the right option is? Yes, the right option is, so these have thick elastic walls and the blood flows under high pressure. Option A is the right option. So moving on to the next topic, diffusion. So the soil water enters from the higher concentration to the lower concentration by the process of diffusion into the plants. So our second question, the plant roots absorb water from the soil through this process. Is it diffusion? Is it osmosis? Is it transpiration? Or is it none? Yes, you guessed the right answer. It is the process of diffusion. So let us know something about the lymph. So lymph is another fluid involved in transportation. So some amount of the plasma, proteins and blood cells escape into the intercellular spaces in the tissues to form the lymph or the tissue fluid. So lymph is similar to blood plasma, but it's colorless and contains less proteins. So if you see the difference between blood and lymph, so blood is reddish in color, lymph is pale yellow in color. So red blood cells are present, but in the lymph, red blood cells, RBCs, are absent. So it is bidirectional flow in the blood. So but the lymph flows unidirectional only in one direction. So blood, the flow is rapid, but in the lymph, the flow is slow. The leukocytes count relatively is less in the blood. So in the lymph, there is high leukocyte count. So the platelets are present in the blood, but platelets are absent in the lymph. So let's see what is the question. The third question, In humans, name the fluid that is involved in transportation like blood. Is it option A, platelets, option B, white blood cells, option C, lymph, or option D, plasma? So, the fluid that is involved in transportation like blood is the lymph. So, moving on to the next concept. So, this is the structure of a nephron. So, we have the glomerulus, we have the Bowman's capsule, we have the proximal convoluted tubule, then comes the loop of Henle. So, then it is the distal convoluted tubule which connects to the collecting duct. The proximal convoluted tubule is where a majority of reabsorption occurs. About 67% of the water, so sodium ions and the potassium ions entering the nephron is reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule and returned to the circulation. Let's see what the question is. The fourth question here comes. Which part of the nephron that reabsorbs useful substances such as amino acids, salt and water? Is it the tubular part? Option B, glomerulus? Is it option C, Bowman's capsule? Or option D, the collecting duct? Yes, you know the answer now. It is the tubular part. So the fifth question, identify the wrong statement. So when the right ventricle is enlarged, the deoxygenated blood comes from the body. Option B, to remove carbon dioxide from the blood, blood must reach the lungs. Option C, the pulmonary arteries pump pure blood into the blood. Or option D, deoxygenated blood flows through vena cava. So the right answer is option C, the pulmonary arteries pump pure blood into the body. Here children, you should identify that the question is, we have to identify the wrong statement. So pulmonary veins pump the pure blood into the body. It's not pulmonary arteries. So here for this fifth question, option C is the right answer. Efferent arteriole filters the blood in the Bowman's capsule through the glomerulus. So then we have the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. So then again it is the Henle's loop, the distal convoluted loop tubule. So then it is the collecting duct. So which of the following is a correct path taken by urine in our body? Is it option A, B, C or D? So the right option is first, it's the kidney. Through the kidney, so again it is the ureter to the bladder. So then bladder to the urethra. So option C is the right answer. So human heart, the function of the heart in any organism is to maintain a constant flow of blood throughout the body. This replenishes the oxygen and circulates nutrients among the cells and the tissues. Which vein brings clean blood from the lungs into the heart? Is it the renal vein? Is it the pulmonary vein? Is it the pulmonary artery or is it the aorta? Yes, the pulmonary vein brings the clean blood from the lungs into the heart. So the next concept, phloem. Phloem is living tissue. It's responsible for transporting food and other organic materials. So xylem consists of dead cells such as the parenchyma is the only living cells present in the xylem. So phloem mainly contains living cells. So the fibers are the only dead cells in the phloem. So they comprise of the xylem vessels, the fiber and the tracheids. So eighth question comes like this. The phloem tissue in plants is responsible for the transport of, is it water and minerals or glucose or all? The phloem tissue conducts glucose. So looking at the chambers of the heart, whether 2-chambered, 3-chambered or 4-chambered heart. So there are significant differences in the structure of the heart and the circulation of the blood between the different vertebrate groups due to adaptations during evolution and associated difference in the anatomy. So fish have a two-chambered heart with unidirectional circulation. Amphibians have a three-chambered heart which has some mixing up of the blood, and they have double circulation. Most non-avian reptiles have a three-chambered heart but have little mixing up of the blood. So they have double circulation. So mammals and birds have a four-chambered heart with no mixing up of blood and double circulation. So the question comes here, which of the following has three-chambered heart? Is it the lion, pigeon, fish or lizard? So the right option is lizard. Moving on to the next question. So the explanation comes like this. So white blood cells are also called as leukocytes. So they protect you against illness and disease. Think of white blood cells as your immunity cells. In a sense, they are always at war. They flow through your bloodstream to fight viruses, bacteria and other foreign invaders that threaten your health. So you can see the blood cells, monocyte, eosinophils, basophils, lymphocytes, neutrophils, the RBCs and the platelets. So these are the different cells and the different types with their functions of the blood. So the question comes here. The component of blood which makes chemical is known as antibodies. Is it platelets? Is it white blood cells? Is it red blood cells? Or is it plasma? It is the white blood cells which make the antibodies in the blood. So the next explanation, as the heart pumps blood, a series of valves open and close tightly. These valves ensure the blood flow in only one direction, preventing the backflow. The tricuspid valve is situated between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The pulmonary valve is between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. So you can see how the blood enters into the heart. So through the superior and inferior vena cava into the right atrium, through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, through the pulmonary valve, it enters the pulmonary artery, then into the lungs. So through the lungs, through the left atrium, it enters the purified blood and enters the left ventricle. Then through the aorta, it's been pumped to the rest of the body. Let's look into the question now. What prevents the backflow of blood inside the heart during contraction? Is it A, thick muscular walls of the ventricles? Is it option B, the valves? Is it option C, thin walls of atrium? Or is it all? So it's the valves which prevent the backflow of the blood inside the heart during contraction. So next again, there's a lot of question being asked on the nephrons itself. So it is the filtration unit of kidney, the structural and functional unit of kidney excretory system. It consists of tubule which is connected with the collecting duct at one end and a cup-shaped structure at the other end. The filtrate passes into the tubular part of the nephron. This filtrate contains glucose, amino acids, urea, uric acid, salts and a major amount of water. So here comes the question. The excretory unit in humans' excretory system is called, is it neuron, is it ureter, is it nephron or is it bladder? The excretory unit in human excretory system is nephron. So moving on to the next question. The substance which is not reabsorbed into the blood capillaries surrounding the tubule of a nephron is it glucose? Is it amino acids? Is it urea or is it water? So here children, they are asking the substance which is not reabsorbed into the blood capillaries. So it's the urea. So here comes the next concept regarding the xylem. So xylem transports water and minerals obtained from the soil. So phloem transports products of photosynthesis from the leaves to the other parts of the plant. So vessels, tracheids of the roots, stem and leaves are connected to form a continuous system in xylem cells to transport water to all the parts of the plant. So here in the diagram you can see the xylem vessel and the phloem vessel too. So here comes our question. In autotrophs are nothing but the plants. In autotrophs, water is transported through. Is it roots? Is it phloem? Is it stomata? Is it through xylem? So the right option is xylem. So excretion in plants. So the gums, oils, latex, resins, etc. So these are some of the waste products stored in the plant. Parts like barks, it could be stem, leaves, etc. Eventually, plants shed off these parts also. So plants produce two gaseous waste products, that is the oxygen during photosynthesis and carbon dioxide during respiration. Excretion of gaseous waste in plants take place through the stomatal pores on the leaves. Excess of water is also excreted from the plant body through the stomatal pores and from the surfaces of roots and stems too. The process of elimination of water is called as transpiration. Sometimes they even excrete into the soil. Looking at the last question over here, what are the methods the plants used to excrete the waste materials? So option A, waste materials in plants accumulates in mature leaves and falls off. Waste materials such as glue, resins accumulate in the aged xylem and they stop to function. Many plants' waste are stored in the vacuoles. So the correct option is all. So all these above methods are used by plants to excrete the waste materials. Thank you so much for joining, children. All the best.